Number 6, keep your head on it. This is one of my favorites. So simple yet so powerful. Just keep thinking about this stuff rather than something else. The beauty of it is it can be done anywhere and anytime, no matter what the body is engaged in. You could say, in a way, this is a meta strategy, and all the rest of what we're talking about are ways of being most productive and most efficient at keeping your head on it. Keeping spiritual matters in the forefront of your mind connects you with a universal and easily observable principle, which is that it is in the area of your greatest interest and activity that providence lends a hand. Opportunities materialize, coincidences happen, revelation happen. Einstein had no epiphanies about art. Picasso had no epiphanies about math. Number 5, look under every rock. In other words, don't confine yourself to the words of a certain teacher or tradition. Cast a wide net. Be open to finding truth anywhere and everywhere. The downside of this strategy, of course, is that there's thousands of rocks out there, especially these days. This is where discrimination comes in. You need to develop a good nose for bullshit and back away when you get a whiff. It's also useful, I think, to keep the back of the book answer, quote unquote, in mind as you turn over all these rocks. And that is, throughout history, in every part of the world, everyone who has ever awakened to the true nature of reality reports the same thing, which is the person you think yourself to be does not exist. There are no people, there is no world. I'm not suggesting you believe this or accept it intellectually, but if you use it as a working hypothesis, you've automatically eliminated all teachings that emphasize the enhancement of a non-existing self, the improvement of a non-existing world, and compassion for its non-existing people. Right there, you've saved yourself a lot of work, because you've blown past most everything that's out there. All the organized religions, self-help gurus, and New Age cul-de-sacs. Buddha saw this as step 1. First of all, he said, first of all, understand that the world has no substance whatsoever. Then let the mind fight it out with the mind. Number 4, retraverse the ray of projection. Rose often talked about the world as a projection of mind. In conjunction with this, he talked about mind as having 3 aspects: manifested mind, unmanifested mind, and manifest-ing mind, I-N-G, manifest-ing mind. It's not an easy concept, but let's look at it for a minute. Unmanifested mind is the boundless emptiness that's forever behind you, no matter where you turn. This is the source of all. Experientially, it is anterior to the window you appear to look out of. You could say it's the back of your head. Unmanifested mind, the source of all. Manifested mind is the view forward into creation, the experience of world, the experience of life. Unmanifested mind is still and changeless. Manifested mind, constant motion. Manifesting mind is the point of view from which creation is projected and witnessed. The point through which no thing becomes everything. Experientially, this is what we call me. Obviously, what we experience as life is the movement outwards, the projection from unmanifested mind to manifested mind. When Rose advises to retraverse the ray of projection, he's saying do a 180. Retraverse the ray from manifested to unmanifested mind. Look back into what you're looking out of. Those of you familiar with Douglas Harding will recognize that this is the basis of his experiments. To reverse the ray of looking and projection from outwards to inwards. It's also an interesting exercise, I think, to find a way to let the attention rest squarely on manifesting mind, on that pinpoint of projection through which infinite emptiness becomes this full color sensory extravaganza. That point of projection is the creator, capital C, creator, the portal between source and creation. And you are that. Number 3, life gives you all the koans you need. This is one that has very practical implications, and in one way or another it comes up in our group conversations. We have Wednesday group in Raleigh. It comes up in our group conversations quite a bit because it has practical implications for our lives. A koan, of course, is a Japanese word for an unsolvable riddle that's used in some Zen practices. Zen koans are artificial problems introduced into the mind intentionally as a means to stop the head and allow possibly realization to happen. When Rose says life gives you all the koans you need, he means that the normal course of your daily existence will provide endless organic problems and opportunities for self-inquiry. You don't need to introduce artificial ones like what is the sound of one hand clapping or something. You're going to have plenty in your own life. By extension, Rose also means that your unique spiritual path to the absolute is to be found in the living of your daily life. Your life, not the life of a teacher you think you should emulate, or an imagined life you think better fits a serious seeker. In other words, you don't need to go to India or enter a monastery unless it arises very organically for you. Don't use spiritual work as an excuse to hide from the hand you've been dealt. Your fastest road to truth is straight through the circumstances that naturally befall you. Eyes wide, mind open, heart grateful. Don't turn your back on a path that has been tailored specifically for you in favor of an imperfect idealization of what you think a spiritual path should be.